A love letter to a divine mathematics. First off, big respect to you for clicking on this video, a guy talking about how much he loves mathematics as opposed to any of the latest drama, what Master Oogway is up to, Hassan Piker, whether he'll fight Drake. I don't even know what's going on. I've never heard anything in popular culture. I'm so out of the loop. You're going to get zero entertainment from watching this video, but you'll get a ton of knowledge, a ton of education, break the trend of your peers, pursuing these unedited lectures. And that's just massive respect to you, man, for sticking through and watching this, even though I'm boring as fuck. Okay, so my promise with you is that you will fall back in love with mathematics after years of anti-beauty conditioning in math class. So you've been told mathematics is boring. It's you've probably fallen asleep multiple times in the last week trying to learn math. And I understand that. I do that too. But just because you learn math in a certain way does not mean that that's what math really is. It's like as we talked about with Ed Frankel, he said like our current math classes, it's like trying to learn how to paint or trying to learn about painting by instead of learning about the paintings of the great masters, learning about Da Vinci and Van Gogh and all of these other great men, it would be like if you just watched paint dry and learned how to paint fences. It's like, no, that's not what art is. Art is not just the act of painting. Art is something beautiful and sublime. And in the same way, you'll realize the beauty of this mathematics. Quick introduction. My name is Tommy, and CTMU Singularities, where your self-improvement and self-education meets a mindset of absolute truth. I help young guys get so self-actualized that they start figuring out the meaning of the universe. Subscribe right now if you want that on your homepage, if you want that in your feed, instead of Drake, Kendrick updates. Learn what school won't teach you. I've spent the last 3 years obsessing over the most advanced logical system in the world called the CTMU, and now I'm here to teach you everything that I know, everything that I've learned for free. God is a mathematician of the very highest order. As Paul Dirac, one of the most fine and handsome and greatest physicist in all of history once said, he said, God is a mathematician of the very highest order, and he used very advanced mathematics in constructing the universe. I don't know why I said handsome. That was just like one of like 3 adjectives that I was trying to think of. Anyway, that was kind of weird. Although Dirac was an agnostic and may not have meant this literally, that God is a mathematician of the very highest order, I do. Were advanced mathematics not involved in the construction of reality and not veritably part of the language of the divine, then the mathematical structure of the universe would be inexplicable. Further, since mathematics is syntactically embedded in non-terminal meta-reality N, it is part of the design and potential programming that generates and creates the universe. Therefore, mathematics plays an agentive role in the formation of the universe. The universe expresses itself naturally in the language of mathematics, which is why we can make meaningful contact with it. Descriptions and operations for mathematical reality correspond one-to-one with the real world. Mathematics has evolved precisely as a symbolic counterpart to the universe. It is no wonder that mathematics works. That is precisely the reason for its existence. The universe has imposed mathematics upon humanity. Therefore, mathematics was not invented. It was discovered, just like gravity or genetics. No one would say that Newton or Mendel invented gravity or genes. They simply found out about their principles. In the same way, mathematics is the explication by human theorists of externally existent principles. This view is called mathematical Platonism because it posits the existence of eternal mathematical objects that exist independently of human theorization, such as Plato's metaphysical world of forms, which consists of mathematical objects that generate the world of appearances. This could be called creatively the pie in the sky theory of mathematics because it says that somewhere in this eternal world is the exact decimal expansion of pi, the circumference divided by the diameter that exists as an immortal object beyond the world of impressions. All mathematical objects, according to this theory, have that transcendent character. Gödel, one of the finest logicians and mathematicians of all time, was also a metamathematical Platonist who believed that mathematics existed independently of physical reality. Gödel wrote, despite their remoteness from sense experience, we do have something like a perception also of the objects of set theory, as is seen from the fact that their axioms force themselves upon us as being true. I don't see any reason why we should have less confidence in the kind of perception, i.e., in mathematical intuition, than in sense perception. They too may represent an aspect of objective reality. The Platonic assumption that our mathematical model is a well-defined object seems essential if the whole applied mathematical project is to make any sense. I should clarify my view of mathematical Platonism as opposed to Gödel's, because I believe that some mathematical thinkers who classify themselves as Platonic are naive in the extreme. While I believe that mathematics syntactically, meaning its rules and structure, has a non-terminal existence as part of the grammar of SCSPL, the language of reality, in non-terminal meta-reality N, I think that the semantic expression of mathematics, meaning like the notation, the way that we write it, the numbers, etc., are human constructed. They don't have a character independent of human theorization. For example, I do not believe that Leibniz discovered the notation for calculus. I believe that he discovered the principles about instantaneous change, but his actual notations, the way he wrote that with like derivatives and integrals and so forth, they are our way as humans of expressing that using writing. So I think he invented it to describe the already existing rules and structure of continuous change in infinitesimals. So while he discovered calculus, he invented the notation. This is an essential but overlooked distinction among mathematical Platonists. The symbols that we use to denote mathematical reality are arbitrary human constructions, even if mathematics itself has a transcendent character. Mathematics is defined in the dictionary as the science of space and quantity. As infinity syntactically distributes over space and quantity over every object, process, and relation as its essential character and self-potential, mathematics is not only based on infinite valued logic. Still, it could be adequately described in the words of Hermann Weyl as the science of the infinite, going well beyond mere space and quantity. Hermann Weyl, a noted mathematician, theoretical physicist, and philosopher, wrote, "Purely mathematical inquiry in itself, according to the conviction of many great thinkers by its special character, its certainty and stringency, lifts the human mind into closer proximity with the divine than is attainable through any other medium. Mathematics is the science of the infinite, its goal the symbolic comprehension of the infinite with human, that is, finite means. It is the great achievement of the Greeks to have made the contrast between the finite and the infinite fruitful for the cognition of reality. Coming from the Orient, the religious intuition of the infinite, the aperos, the inexperienced, infinite, innumerable, takes hold of the Greek soul. We are infinite creatures chained by the finite. Indeed, this descent is for the sake of an even greater subsequent ascent, an intimation of the divine infinite from the bindings and boundaries of this physical reality. Mathematical metaphysics is about the relationship between man and the universe. We are the infinite made flesh, the transcendent made immanent. Studying the world of eternal mathematical objects is an integral part of the study of ultimate reality. Woe unto those who teach shapes and proofs and multiplication tables and call it math. That's not what math is about. Math is the science of the infinite and the study of reality. The first known thing in creation is infinity. Infinity is creation. Therefore, if mathematics is the science of the infinite, it is also the science of creation. This level of inquiry goes well beyond the standard scope of mathematics while retaining its analytic precision. Therefore, the field of study of such lofty matters is called mathematical metaphysics, the most general human cognitive discipline. A true, pure mathematician is the infinity becoming aware of itself, desiring to know the true nature of the science and study of the never-ending, the non-terminal. As the bard of the divine infinite, William Blake, sang, "If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite. For man has closed himself up. He sees all things through narrow chinks of his cavern. We're only looking at a tiny fraction of all that the world is." The role of actual mathematics is to cleanse our eyes and open them so that we can have experience and precise knowledge of the divine. Though we are cognitively and perceptually bound, we can strive to see beyond the narrow chinks of our cavern and experience the complete pleasure and picture of reality. No longer will any mathematician be allowed to say, as did the noted English mathematician G.H. Hardy in his classic A Mathematician's Apology, that I have never done anything useful. No discovery of mine has made or is likely to make, directly or indirectly, for good or ill, the least difference to the amenity of the world. Rather, mathematics will be reformulated as something essential to the structure and study of reality and be intimately useful to all as a way to draw themselves nearer to the identity of existence, because identity is, of course, a mathematical construction. Rather, mathematics will be seen as the study of love and identity, where love is defined as the merging of two or more identities in non-terminal meta-reality, and the expansion of self to include one another. Mathematics can be seen as the study of love. As Blake said, if a thing loves, it is infinite. The one, the ultimate identity of which the most straightforward and most complex representation is the entirety of reality. It is the ultimate lover because it has self-expanded the hopes, visions, and dreams of every soul in the universe. So it has expanded its identity to include literally every object, every being in existence, and therefore it is itself love. Once we understand that there is one infinite identity in all of creation, and that we are all expressions of that ultimate identity, it will be immediately known that we can't have everyone running their own show, but have to come together based on love and intelligent unity. We will see that every being in existence is connected in ways that are not discernible on this plane of existence. As Dostoevsky said, we don't understand that life is heaven, for we only have to understand that, and it will at once be fulfilled in all its beauty. We will embrace one another and weep. As if we understand this insight based on our mathematical understanding, we've got it made. Properly conceived mathematics is the gateway to proper ethical and metaphysical sense, as Leibniz conceived centuries ago. We no longer have to rely on faith or aesthetics as the pillar of truth. We can have absolute knowledge of the character of ultimate reality. This is what mathematical metaphysics brings about, the amor Dei intellectualis, the intellectual love of God that brings us to a state of higher union with transcendent reality. Langen has even made mathematical metaphysics and identified it as the Logos, the Word of God made thought. As Sapientia says to the Roman Emperor Hadrian in Hosfreva's hollowing play on the martyrdom of the Blessed Virgins, faith, hope, and charity, after Hadrian questions the value of her long digression into mathematics. She says, math would be unprofitable if it did not lead us, and this is wisdom herself speaking, by the way. Math would be unprofitable if it did not lead us to appreciate the wisdom of our Creator and the wondrous knowledge of the author of the world, who in the beginning created the world out of nothing and then set everything in number, measure, and weight, and then in the time and age of man formulated a science which reveals fresh wonders the more we studied it. These fresh wonders are the basis of mathematics. So yes, mathematics is technically a human invention, but it is also a veritable endeavor and noble art at discerning God-given truth and the language of the divine that discloses itself to us in mystery, in the non-terminal reality for which we can never stop striving, and by which is defined our lack of end in our striving. So syntactically, math exists forever, well beyond the shackles of our notation. As we'll discuss in our philosophy and theology course, the existence of mathematics is among the most convincing proofs for the existence of an ideal reality and a creator God. The whole world is filled with his glory. Love of God entails love of his creations, and it is clear that mathematics, no matter how boring your middle school geometry class was, is among the finest and loftiest crafts of the creator. Let the light shine forth in the darkness. May the peace of our Father in heaven be upon you. Like and subscribe. Peace.